Yo, what up, everybody? This is another episode of After Hours. We're going to talk about the week, kind of what we do every single week, and let's kind of talk about what's kind of going on in the office. I mean, markets are volatile, of course. Let's talk about volatility. Let's talk about kind of the conversations that everybody's having, and in terms of growth, in terms of kind of the chemistry, what everybody's doing, and where everybody's at.
Right. So it's funny because in this office space we have people from beginner levels, we have people from intermediate levels, we have people from like at elite levels, and everybody's just always trying to push towards that next level, right? And a cool observation is that we make is we constantly are analyzing human behavior, so we can see how everybody's progression and what their faults are, and we can somewhat call them out and help them out when they're going through those rough times. And the amazing part of it is that people here help each other out, and they're all like pushing us towards the next level, regardless of wherever you're at. A trader either has been in your position, being at a higher level than you, or is beneath a level that you are and still recognizes something that you're doing at a high level that you shouldn't be doing, that they're doing right but you're doing wrong. So
Yep.
that's just amazing and interesting to see here in the office, that we can really help each other out and just grow as traders. Because at the end of the day, like all this volatile market is doing is it's creating a lot of opportunity, but a lot of people here are taking that opportunity, they're cashing it in, and then they lose it all because they're screwing up somewhere else. And I think
Yep.
that having that backup support system from traders around you is quite valuable right now.
Yeah, so one thing that we started doing is kind of reaching out to the traders, right? Talking to them, seeing where they're at mentally. I mean, it's a lot easier to see when somebody's going through it than versus you going through it. Like, you're going through it, but you don't want to admit it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
You kind of want to stay stubborn, and
The ego kicks
in. The ego. You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be, you're like, well, what if this happens? What if this happens?
Right.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if this happens. There's conversations on the floor where it's like, yo, do you think I should be adding here? Do you think I should be adding here? And the end of the answer is, dude, put on the size, put on the risk, or don't do it at all. That's the answer. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, we're in a market right now where we're moving. Intraday, we're moving up, down, right? And so,
Yeah.
in terms of, like, strategies that worked in low volatility in August, they're not going to be working now. So, now it's everybody's shifting, everybody's moving. I mean, this week we kind of caught a vibe where it was just like, there was energy where the market was kind of dumping out, and everybody was just kind of like heightened awareness. You know what I mean? There was a calling out. There was aggression in some of the options markets. There was aggression in the equities, the futures,
Right.
and everybody was just their positions and positioning themselves and just a way that they could benefit from the volatility.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so one thing that you're doing is reaching out to everybody and kind of monitoring and understanding where people are at, and while everybody's kind of going through the thick of it, thinking about the next move, where they're going to be at, what do they want to capture, the risk and the reward, you're sitting back and you're like, yo, are you on tilt?
Yo,
Where you at, man?
exactly.
Where you at? I kind of know where you're at, like mentally. Let's take a step back. Let's go chill out a little bit. Let's do something else. You know what I mean? So talk about that, and then like how beneficial that is to have the chemistry with other traders.
So I find it like it's embedded in me. I take care of people. Like, I like to do that. Like, I like to take care of my people. I like to make sure that everybody's always fine and pushing and doing good. So for me, this task is like, it's phenomenal. I when like the market opens, I already have like a gist of what everybody has going on in terms of their positions, and I just try to be there for support and try to make sure and keep them straight and intact during those times, especially when you go through like a big volatility kicks in. That's when you your emotion starts kicking in, and then you start losing control and you start losing traction of where you really should be or what you were really doing, your plan of action when stuff like this happens. And I try to be there for everybody and keep them intact, make sure that they're always pushing forward and they know what they have to do and don't hesitate, because here hesitation will kill you a lot. And that's one of the big, if not the main thing that happens to traders in here, is that they hesitate too much or they put on too much risk on the table, right? And being able to stay on top of everybody and just knowing not making decisions for them, right? But just, telling them what they're doing helps them know, all right, I shouldn't be doing this, or I'm doing this, right?
Of course.
And to me, that's just been greatly beneficial, not only for them, but for me as well, because I learn from them too. I apply like, all right, so he's doing this, and I do that sometimes, so I shouldn't stop. I should stop doing that too, and then it just creates this win-win situation with everybody. So to me, it's great. It's great that we have that set up here, and I think it's of immense value as traders here. Like it makes them grow. It makes them grow, and it's just something that it's like coaching. Yeah, it's like coaching, but it's really not. It's just support system. It's like when you go to whatever, a meeting, and y'all are discussing how y'all can move to the next level. Well, like during the course of action, you'll have someone there to make sure. It's like a personal trainer that you're going the right path.
Yep. So I think as traders, we kind of were able to resonate with each other on a different level. You know what I mean? Like if you go home and you talk to somebody, like your friends that are not traders, and you're like, yo, I had a rough day. Like, I mean, things were crazy. They're going to be like, yeah, man, that sucks. Like, how are we going to get about that? But, like, they don't actually understand. You know what I mean? So, like, now it's like, if we see something, we see kind of what's going on. We're like, volatility's here. Somebody's selling calls. Somebody's selling puts. We got people that are going directional both ways.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yo, who's in pain here? Who's in pain here? Like, what can we do? Are you in the right mindset? What are you at? What are you doing? Like, and that I've recognized that even small comments from traders on the floor, like, I take everything into effect, and it's like, yo, if it makes you think about it. Like, if you're leaning too hard this way, it's like, yo, slap some hedges on, right? Like, who cares if the hedges go to zero? That's the point of a hedge.
Yes, exactly.
Right? It's the cost of doing business, right? But when we all get wrapped up, and I find it to be, like, myself personally, is sometimes you kind of get wrapped up in your own opinion and in the direction of the market, and so that's not always the right thing. So, like, comments from people, it definitely helps.
Oh, greatly, and it's great. I mean, like, for example, I'll use myself. And this was, actually, I'm gonna throw this in there. I'm not naming the trader in here, but this week I had a position where I was on the exact opposite side of this other trader in the office, and he was feeling pain, and I was feeling like, well, I need this to work in my favor, but I don't want it to work at the same time because I want him to not feel pain. And it was such an interesting moment. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, when you sell an option, or sell a contract or sell whatever, you're selling it to someone. Knowing that person is, like, right next to you or, like, in the same floor as you is like, whoa. So I'm playing against you now.
Yeah. It's an interesting, complex, and then psychologically it makes you approach things differently, because it's like you both can coexist, and then if you're wrong, like, somebody's going to lose money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we both came to the conclusion that we were talking about it, and we're like, you know what, man, like, we're not pushing the buttons for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You are going out there, you're making that decision.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to you're either putting the risk on or you're not. If you're not putting the risk on, that's fine. If it goes in your direction and you're not there, so be it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're putting the risk on, it goes against you, it's your fault. It's only your fault. In the market, it's only your fault.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm gonna go back and take this to, like, a primal, like, age. When you go to the market, regardless of what you're doing, you're going out to hunt.
Yep.
You're going out to hunt. Like put yourself in a position where, like, you're out there in the wilderness,
of course,
and you have your bow and arrow or whatever, but you're out there hunting. You don't want to be caught, like, in a position where it can end, like, your life, right? You don't want to be caught against, like, I don't know, 2 tigers or 2 lions. That's it's pretty much done there, right? So,
of course.
So, like, it's amazing, like, to have, like, that support system, and it's amazing to see how we can help each other out. Like, when you're gonna go out, have a plan of action, have everything set straight, go out, do your thing.
Yep.
And then, like, once the market closes, we go, we all meet up, sit around, like, and just get feedback on ourselves of how we did, what we did right, what we did wrong, and then it's just greatly improving. Like, I feel like at some point this is gonna get, like, a momentum effect, and it's just gonna start scaling higher and higher and higher.
Of course.
Of course, the level of mindset and consciousness that we have of each other is amazing in this office.
I think being around growth-minded people and being around people that are actively trying to achieve levels is also something that's super important. You know what I mean? Everybody in here has their own kind of thing that they want to achieve. They have their own personal goals. They have their own everything that they want to do, you know, and we're all at different levels. So we got kids. I mean, Gustavo's in here at 19, you know what I mean? And then we have kids all the way to like, or not even kids. We have Lucci. He's 37, right? Yep. So there's a wide range. And then everybody kind of coexists, and then they're figuring it out. They're learning from everything. Like the young bucks, we bring energy that some of the older guys, they can't even bring, you know what I mean? Not because they don't want to, just because you're getting older, man. You're getting older. So
we're bringing that energy that the young bucks bring in here is energy that the veterans rub off of.
Oh, for sure.
Like you could see it. Like I'm gonna use even Lucha as an example. Like having here like all these young bucks, they're like hungry. They're hungry.
Oh, yeah,
they're out here to destroy. And that energy, like Lucci picks up on that, and he's like, "Oh, I'm out here to destroy as well." And then it's just like it bounces off.
Of course. Now there's a balance when you want to out here and destroy, and then being out here progressing in life, and then just being surrounded by it. So, kind of what we figured out this week is there's so many levels to this game, and everybody's kind of on a different level, and it's setting what that level is for you, and then actively pursuing it. Set the goal, hit it. Now you got it. Now it's the next level. Let's say, God forbid, you set a level that's too high, you fall and miss. Make sure you're falling forward. That's all we figured out. You know what I mean?
Pretty
because our generation, we think about like levels to where we want to obtain this, we want to obtain that, and we don't sit back and realize what we have. You know what I mean? Because we're always thinking about the next thing. Because if you're not thinking about the next thing, you're not really growing. But then at the same time, you need to enjoy life. So that's what we talked about, and levels seem to be the theme of this week. You know?
Yeah.
So
thank you guys for watching. We're gonna wrap it up there, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Later.